So I have a surprise for my subscribers, but I'm gonna reveal it at the end of this video, so don't go anywhere so that you can find out. You might just be the person. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Stories with Oluchi. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if this is your first time watching my video, please hit the subscribe button so that you can get updates from me. The story I'm about to tell you is just very strange. But first I must let you know that viewer discretion is advised. Now, something happened in Georgia, and what makes it so strange is that it happened to this Nigerian family, and ever since then no one has been able to tell us what went wrong with this couple. Earlier this year, a man called Udoamaka Nwamo, a Nigerian man, killed his wife, killed his wife's mother, which is his mother-in-law, and then turned the gun on himself. And that was it. We don't know what happened. The police have not been able to piece together what went wrong. So the story was that Udoamaka Nwamo, who's 34 years old, forced his way into his mother-in-law's house and shot her, and then shot his wife. We don't know what happened, but when the police arrived at the scene, they had gunshots, and they also tried to diffuse the situation. There was more like, it felt like a hostage situation where they were outside pleading for him to drop the gun and come out so that they wouldn't have to shoot him, but he refused, and then after a few minutes he shot himself. Then I did a little digging. I went to his Facebook profile, I checked around, and it seemed like this man was actually crying for help. Something was bothering him for quite some time, but he wasn't saying much on his Facebook account. It felt like a normal post whereby someone would come and say, drop cryptic messages here and there. But if you read deeper, you'd understand that this man was going through something. One of the messages he left was that he kept hinting that his wife betrayed him, and that he could not believe that his wife would lie against him, and he felt like he had lost a lot. Maybe he lost something, he lost trust, or maybe he lost his job or income or something. We don't know, but he just kept dropping this one line message on Facebook, and then people just felt like it was just a normal message, but nobody saw him thinking of trying to go kill his wife. The message kind of sounded like he had a lot going on in his life. Maybe he needed help, or maybe he was going through something painful with his wife, or perhaps there was a betrayal somewhere. It was just so disturbing. We will never know what happened, because now he killed himself, he killed his wife, and then he killed his mother-in-law. So my guess was that probably his anger is probably that his mother-in-law must have enabled whatever happened, and that his wife probably left him helpless, and he had no other choice. He'd rather end it all than start life afresh. So after the SWAT team tried to diffuse the situation by negotiating with Nwamo, they eventually gained entry into the house when they had a gunshot. They couldn't wait any longer. They needed to get in and figure out what was going on. So as soon as they barged into the house, they found Nwamo on the floor. We don't know if this was planned, but like I said, the messages that he left on Facebook suggested that he already had this coming. At a point he said, "God, thank you for the sign." And the message was well received, and then he went ahead to do this. And he also stopped at some point to say goodbye to his friends, but again no one understood what he meant, because he didn't make it obvious that he was up to something like that. I'm sure that if he had announced it, people would have tried to calm him down, or friends and relatives would have come to his rescue, but he just dropped those messages, and then he signed off and went ahead to commit murder, and then killed himself as well. As a Nigerian in diaspora, I can only imagine that perhaps he felt that he's losing everything. He felt unhappy. Maybe he was depressed. I mean, this man have a record of he seemed like someone who's well trained in the use of firearm. Maybe he worked as a security in the past, or maybe he has a license to carry a gun and all that. So he's pretty well familiar with how to handle a gun and all that. I'm sure his wife knew that as well. So one of his messages that I found really disturbing that he left on June 2nd was that he wrote, "May God send our feminine angels to help save a man. The black man needs you." And then, people engaged it as well. And then the second was that the police need to start investigating women who try to frame men. 20 years. So he said this, he said the police need to start investigating women who try to frame men. Full stop. And then he said 20 years. And that kind of gives a hint of maybe something happened. Did his wife try to blackmail him? Did his wife frame him for something he didn't do? Did he have a case pending in court? Or did she threaten to frame him and it got him upset and he decided like, yo, if she goes through with this, my life is over. I'd rather just die than wait for it to manifest. It says a lot that this man, like I said, the man, he sounded like he was going through a lot, but it's just the Facebook message. It can only guide us here and there on what happened, but we cannot say for a fact that this is actually what happened. And then another message was, what would you do if your wife and side bitch tried to frame you? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm curious because that shit be happening. And this was all on 2nd of June. So something happened on 2nd of June that made this man continuously started dropping messages, one after the other. He was trying to tell a story. He was trying to say something, but it didn't seem like he had a lot of people to talk to. And social media is a place whereby sometimes if you cannot get your word out, you can come there and, say what's on your mind. You can reach a lot of people. Friends and family can even engage in your message. But until you've fully come out to say exactly what the problem is, people can only speculate. You understand? If anyone knew what was happening with this man and his wife, and then they read this message, they'll probably figure out that there's something going on. Or maybe he was just talking about something he saw on TV. We don't know. But now that the incident happened, now that they are no longer alive, we can only just go back to what he left behind and talk about it. And then here's another one. He said, modern women have trouble being honest. Now, he was hitting closer, he was going in, he was dropping these big hints. At this point, I am pretty convinced that he was talking about his wife. I don't know, maybe his wife or his mother-in-law, or maybe he was just referring to something else. But I'm strongly sure that this is about his wife. Something was going to happen and maybe the mother-in-law got in the way, or maybe she was just unfortunate to be there at the wrong time that he had to shoot them both. And then a week to the incident, he wrote, "Father Lord, thank you for revealing the message. I promise to finish the mission." Now, this is probably the last of it. This was when he already decided that he was going to murder his wife and end it all. I have looked all over the internet trying to find clues if there's anyone who knows anything about this family, what went wrong. It's bizarre, it's strange. We usually know when something like this happens. There's usually a clue to, maybe from friends and family. Someone will probably come out and tell the full story, but no one has said anything about this couple. Normally in a Nigerian family, if something like this happens, someone will surely come out and tell their own version of the story, what they knew about the couple. But so far, I have not found any clue. I don't know. The wife is not a Nigerian, that I'm pretty sure of. But he himself, we don't know if he was actually close to his family in Nigeria or if they've just decided not to talk about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the story I bring to you today. What are your thoughts? Have you heard about this story? What do you think happened here? Do you think this man, felt betrayed by his wife? Do you think his post on Facebook had anything to do with his wife? Or do you think that the incident, they are all connected? The murder, the Facebook post, and of course, the divorce. Do you think they are all tied together? I believe so. my subscribers, I have decided to be mentioning one of you guys. I'm just gonna pick someone and then, you know, give them a shout out, just to let them know that I see them and I appreciate them hanging in here. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again.